Good afternoon. This is Judge Alyssa Perez presiding over the 210th District Court criminal docket for September 13th, 2022. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Mr. Marufo, can you call our first case, please?
Yes, Judge. On page 9. Annex. Annex, are you there?
Oh, we're missing the annex. Oh, there they are.
Annex, are you there?
Yes.
Can we have Mr. Arturo Castañón?
Yes, sir. Coming right out.
Thank you, sir. Okay. In cause number 2022 0D03367 and 2021 0D00306 and 2020 0D04353 and 2021 0D00628 and 2021 0D00628 and 2020 0D0.
Those are repeats, I think, ending with 0628. They're repeated on the docket, so it should be a total of 4 cases.
Okay, Judge. The state of Texas versus Arturo Castañón. Announcement of council, please.
Samantha Rogg on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
Good afternoon again, Your Honor. Joseph Beath on behalf of the defense, ready to proceed.
And Mr. Castañón is appearing from the jail annex. We're set for both bond hearings and pre-revos. Pre-revos, I think, on 3 of the cases, because we have one additional 2022 case. Yeah, that was the ag assault. I think we were outstanding. Mr. Beath, you may proceed on your bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just as way of background, Mr. Castañón was on probation out of your court on just 3 personal drug.
I'm having a little trouble hearing you, Mr. Beath. I don't know if it's
Any better now?
A little bit, yeah. If you'll just speak a little louder. Are you okay, Ms. Rago? You can hear him?
It was going in and out as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so if there's any more problems, let me know. Do you want me to try to work on it, or can you hear me now?
No, go ahead. Just as long as you keep the volume up.
Okay, good. Well, I just by way of background on this case, he was on probation for 3 personal use drug cases, 2 that were state jails, and then 1 that was over a gram. And they were all personal use matters. And he's been on probation for the 3rd degree. He's on probation for a period of 10 years. So he has a long ways to go, until he's done. So he's still working on things with his probation. He has time to get through some of the requirements. He recently picked up a new case and was arrested for that, and has been in custody for his probation case. There's been a hold on him since that arrest. And just by some background on Mr. Castañón, he's a U.S. citizen. He's born and raised in El Paso. He has 3 children, 20, 19, and 16 years old. He's a certified electrician. He was working at Wizard Electric at the time of his arrest, and he'll have a very good job to go back to if he's able to get released on a bond. And he'll be working as a certified electrician. He lives with his mother at 1228 Cali Quail 79936. His entire family lives in the U.S. He has no ties to Mexico. His mother has health problems, and he was helping her a lot before he was arrested. Now, the new arrest stems out of an incident with an old girlfriend that he hadn't seen for a year. They were not together. The last time he saw her, she actually stabbed him in the neck, and he went to the hospital and almost died. And we're getting those medical records for the state. And he saw her again because she needed some belongings. He drove her to a friend's house. They got in an argument. She refused to get out of the car. He put his mom on the phone. He was willing to make a witness statement. And she heard the entire argument and her not getting out of the car. She was getting violent with him. Eventually, he got her out of the car. She later accused him of pushing her out of the car, and then later aiming a firearm at her, which my client completely disputes. And
Mr.
then-
Veith, let me stop you right there because
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because you're going fast or maybe we're losing the volume there, but I was gonna interrupt you anyways, just so
Sure.
I could ask for in the interim, Ms. Frago, is our complainant in the 2022 case, is she currently under some kind of criminal indictment or anything? I'm hearing something about a stabbing. If you'll look at that and I'll go ahead and let Mr. Veith keep going.
Yeah, I looked for that case and I couldn't find. I know he made a police report, but I don't think she ended up getting arrested. They were together at the time. I don't know what happened with it, but the medical records are forthcoming.
Okay,
And we already have a medical release that's been signed by our client, so we can gather those. So she has no real visible injuries. She has a little mark on her finger. They later find my client, in that same day in his, they found his car. He had no firearm on him or his car. So just some, I think it's important as far as the case in chief that we're going to be disputing with the aggravated assault.
Mhm.
I think the recommendation from probation is that he be modified to BIP and remain on probation. We're just asking that he stay on probation, or at least in the interim while we're addressing this case, he had the opportunity to remain on probation pending the investigation, because I do think that this is a matter that will have more clarity soon once we give everything we need to the state. And as far as the reductions, Your Honor, we're asking for $10,000 cash surety with a PR component on the new aggravated assault. And he can make that bond in speaking with his family. It wouldn't have to be all PR. And while this case is pending, he remain on probation, at least in the interim, and have the opportunity to start working on BIP. Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure. Just kind of, and I'll let Ms. Rago respond. I'm looking because we're set for both, right? The bond and the probation case. I have the case summary. I also show that he failed to report on probation for February, March, and April 2022. So in terms of, compliance with conditions, things of that nature, I'm certainly going to look at that. And he wasn't, well, no, it looks rearrest on June 1st for the ag assault and rearrested when he got that fraudulent use case on April 2nd. So maybe that's a pretty big issue. Okay. All right, Ms. Rago, go ahead.
Your Honor, so the victim, I didn't see an arrest on it. There was a failed ID that she was convicted of, and that was in 2004. And then she was placed on deferred in 2003. That was for theft of property, which was a misdemeanor. In addition to that, Your Honor, the state had requested the medical records, and so we're pending the medical records for the victim. Concern is the victim's safety. I understand there may be other things going on, but still concerned for the victim's safety. The report indicated that the defendant pulled out the victim's dialysis tube about 1 inch, and that's why she went to the hospital. He does have some criminal history. He's currently on probation. There was a DWI third where he was placed on, went to the pen for 3 TDC. That was in 2016. There was a DWI third, which was in 2015. He was initially on probation, then was revoked, and that was run concurrent with a 2016 case. In 2008, there was possession of marijuana less than 5 pounds, which was a state jail, and he was placed on 4 AP. A theft, which was a misdemeanor in 2005. An assault, a misdemeanor in 2004. DWI second in 2004, and then possession of marijuana less than 50 pounds. There was a dismissal in 2003, and it finally a DWI in 1999, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, just really quickly, if I could just respond. He hadn't seen the victim in a year, and also the alleged victim refused to make a video statement in the underlying new case, Your Honor, which I thought was very interesting as well.
Okay. Yeah, I know we've had a few bond hearings. I think Mr. Veith, you're at least recently subbed in on this case, and I know I had denied the bonds on the probation cases. He's on straight for, let's see, the drug cases. And we were really outstanding this ag assault, the underlying allegations of which were concerning, and also in thinking that, we're picking up 2 new offenses, alleged offenses while we're on probation, and not a great history. You're accurate in that probation is still, sure why, just recommending that he attend BIP and screen him from the substance abuse caseload. Anything else on the bond from either of you? The bonds?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Okay, I show 3367, the ag assault. It's currently at 35,000 cash surety. It was previously reduced by the jail magistrate. It was originally 75,000 and it got reduced to 35,000. So I'm not making any changes there. I believe that's an appropriate bond. In terms of 0306, 4353, and 0628, those are all no bond situations. Did I get them all? 4353.
I believe.
Let me make sure I have them all. Yes, okay. 0306, the bond will now be 50,000 cash surety. 4353, the bond will be 25,000 cash surety. 0628 will be 25,000 cash surety. I just want to make sure I'm not missing any. No, I think those are them. That'll be the order. Understand, Mr. Vito, we had been, I want to say, at least here twice previously on the bond, and I have a lot of concerns with even giving your client a bond on those probation cases. I know now, well, I hope we don't have anything else outstanding. I think this is everything that we have left on Mr. Castañon. So you all need to start talking. If he's unable to bond out, I think we've already got these set for trial. Double check that the 2022 case is set for trial. We're actually not set for arraignment for a week or so. But do what you need to do. We have interim settings. If you need to come back on the bond, you can go ahead and do that. But I think I'm, well apprised of all the factors here with respect to the bond. But if something changes, let me know, Mr.
I sure will, Your Honor. Just to reiterate, just so I have the numbers, it's 35,000 for the new case, and then it's 2550, and then there's one more bond, Your Honor.
The two state jails in terms of the probation cases are at 25,000, so that's 4353 and 0628. The third degree 0306 is at 50,000, and then the ag assault remains at 35,000.
Understood, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Like we have one missing.
I think that's it.
Do we not have a case for the fraudulent use?
He's posted bond on that, Your Honor, so that may not be that may be why it's not in front of you, because he's posted already.
Do you have the cause number for that one?
I don't think it's been indicted, Your Honor.
Oh, it hasn't?
I don't think so.
Your Honor, I don't see it at all. I'm looking if there's any P files, and then I'm also looking below. It's unindicted, and it usually has the report number. I don't show that.
Okay, let me go back and look. So that he was arrested for that on April 2nd. He was booked on it April 2nd. Yeah, I mean, he posted a $5,000 surety bond, but I need to find out where that case is, because then that sucker's going to be, sticking around out there if we're trying to wrap everything up. Okay.
Sure. Well, I'll look for it as well, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Castañon, are you asking to speak with your attorney?
Can I ask a question? Am I able to bond out already, or?
Yeah, I'll get a hold of you, Mr. Castañon. We'll be in touch with you shortly and your family, and you will be eligible to bond out.
Okay.
There are bonds on all of your cases right now, Mr. Castañon. Okay,
Thanks,
so just talk to your attorney. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, who's
Thank
next?
you all.
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, who's next?
Middle of page 10, Judge. Annex, may we have Angel Lozano Bautista?
Mr. Lopez, have we got the immigration situation wrapped up?
I hope so, Your Honor. I did visit with him. I explained all that.
Mhm.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Interpreter speaking. I believe I was requested for Mr. Batista in this case.
That's correct. So if we can have the annex, please, once the interpreter function is enabled, if we could have the annex pick Spanish and everybody else pick English. Thank you, Mr. Portugal.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I can
Hi.
hear you.
You.
Sí, lo escucho.
Okay, let's go ahead and I'll call it. Calling cause number 2021-0D0248, State of Texas versus Angel Lozano Batista. May I have announcements, please?
Samantha Rogg on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
Enrique Lopez on behalf of Mr. Lozano. We're ready, Your Honor.
And Mr. Lozano is appearing from the jail annex, and he is also utilizing the assistance of a court interpreter. Sir, can you state your name for the record? And I mean you, Mr. Interpreter.
Acérquese.
Thank you very much, Mr. Portugal, and we can go ahead and get started now. Mr. Lozano, we reset your case. I believe it was about 2 weeks ago. We were set for a plea. And in the course of that plea, the issue of any potential immigration consequences came up, and the court suspended the plea at the time to allow you additional time to explore the immigration consequences of your plea. And so before we get started with anything, I want to go ahead and swear you in, sir. Would you raise your right hand, please? Sir, do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
Ajá, sí, juro.
Thank you very much. You can put your hand down. Sir, would you state your name and date of birth for the record?
Ángel Lozano Batista, enero 11, 57.
Mr. Lozano, I was talking about the immigration consequences. Have you had an opportunity, enough time to speak with Mr. Lopez or another attorney regarding the consequences of any plea today?
Sí. Sí, hablé con Enrique
We're
López,
not
el
asking the
abogado.
court for more. Okay, since we were here last, did you speak with an attorney regarding your immigration consequences?
No, apenas ahora hablé con el abogado.
Okay, Mr. Lopez, well, Mr. Batista, was it Mr. Lopez that you spoke with, or did you speak with someone else?
Con el señor López me dijo lo que tenía yo de eso de la migración y todo.
Okay, Mr. Batista, do you need any more time to speak with anyone else other than Mr. Lopez regarding the immigration consequences of your plea today?
No, ya hablé con Enrique López, el abogado.
And do you want to proceed with your plea today?
Pues sí.
Okay, so having sworn you in, Mr. Batista or Mr. Lozano, I'm going to ask you about documents you should have reviewed with your attorney. The first of which is marked as State's Exhibit number 1. Those are the plea papers in this case. Within that document, you're guaranteed certain rights, including the right to remain silent, the right to trial by jury, the right to counsel, the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses, and the right to call witnesses on your behalf and in your defense. Mr. Lozano, do you recall reviewing State's Exhibit number 1 with your attorney and signing that document?
Sí. Sí lo firmé.
Did you understand everything contained within that document?
Sí, sí. Sí lo entendí.
Mr. Lopez, have you had more than 10 days to prepare a defense in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you explain the plea papers to your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you explain them to him in his native language?
Yes, in Spanish, Your Honor. I'm bilingual.
You believe he has understood the admonishments, rights, and consequences of giving up these rights by entering his plea today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lozano, are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
Sí, señor. Estoy satisfecho.
Mr. Lopez, any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to enter his plea?
I have no reason to believe that, Your Honor.
Mr. Lozano, have you ever been found mentally incompetent by any court?
No, señor. No.
Ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who has found you mentally ill?
No, nunca.
So based on your testimony, your attorney's representations, and my observations of you, I'm going to find that you are competent to enter your plea today. Sir, what is your citizenship or immigration status?
Soy residente.
Okay, and we have discussed earlier on the record regarding all the potential consequences of your plea today. You've had a sufficient opportunity to discuss those with your attorney, correct?
Sí, correcto.
Okay, in this case, you are charged with the offense of driving while intoxicated, third or more offense. To that charge, sir, what is your plea? Guilty or not guilty?
Culpable.
Are you making your plea freely and voluntarily?
Sí, señor.
I will find you are making your plea freely and voluntarily. Ms. Rago, would you summarize the evidence, please?
Yes, Your Honor. State of Texas versus Angel Lozano Batista. If the state of Texas were to proceed to trial, the state would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt on or about the 7th day of July, 2021 in El Paso County in the state of Texas, the defendant did then and there operate a motor vehicle in a public place while the defendant was intoxicated, and is further presented in said court that prior to the commission of this offense on the 30th day of April 2003 in cause number 980196 in County Court Hereford of Deaf Smith County, Texas, the defendant was convicted of the offense of DWI. And on the 5th day of May 2015 in cause number 2014-0C11628 in County Court at Law number 7 in El Paso County in the state of Texas, the defendant was convicted of a DWI, Your Honor. The recommendation is 6 years TDC, Your Honor. At this time, the state moves to enter into evidence State's Exhibit 1, which are the plea papers, and State's Exhibit 2, which are the 3914.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Without objection, States 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Lopez, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Lozano, is that your understanding as well as 6 years? Understand that the plea agreement is not binding on the court. However, if I were to reject it, I would allow you to withdraw your plea. If I follow the plea agreement, you may not appeal this case except on matters raised by written motion and ruled on before trial or by permission of the court. The next document I'm asking you about is the one-page document entitled The Trial Court Certification of Your Right to Appeal. It is a document that explains your appeal rights. Because this is a plea bargained or negotiated case, you do not have an automatic right of appeal. Mr. Lozano, do you recall reviewing the trial court certification with your attorney and signing that document?
Sí, señor.
It was signed by your attorney and signed by the court as well. So on your plea of guilty and the evidence introduced, I will accept your plea and at this time find the evidence substantiates your guilt. I will find you guilty of the offense of driving while intoxicated, third or more offense, and I will sentence you according to the plea agreement at 6 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division. You will receive credit for any and all time that you have served. Is there anything further, Mr. Lopez or Ms. Rago?
Nothing from
Nothing.
the state.
Nothing from us, Your Honor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you and good luck to you, Mr. Lozano.
Gracias.
Is there anyone else that needs the interpreter? If not, we can turn off the function and let Mr. Portugal go about his business. Anyone else need the interpreter for today for their client?
Judge, I asked the annex.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Portugal. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor. Likewise. Bye-bye.
Who's next?
On page 11, second one, annex, may we have Sanchez, Eloy?
Yes, it's coming right up.
Go ahead.
In cause number 2018-0D06223, State of Texas versus Eloy Sanchez. Announcement of council, please.
Samantha Raug on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
Gabe Sarang for Mr. Sanchez, defense is ready, Your Honor.
Okay, and Mr. Sanchez is appearing from the jail annex. We're scheduled for a bond hearing. Mr. Sarang, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, he has this case 2018-0D06223. It's a possession under 1 gram cocaine case, and the bond there is $100,000, and I think it's because he absconded from PR. He also has 2 misdemeanors, Judge, 2019-0C01205 and 1214, and both of these are possession PG3 under 28 grams. They're misdemeanors, and those two occurred at the same time, not at the same time as this drug case, Your Honor. Mr. Sanchez is 30 years old, married, has a 2-year-old son. He has his GED. He was working at King Crab as a cook, making $12 an hour full-time. He has a 2-year-old son. I spoke to his wife, Ms. Garcia. He says he's a wonderful dad. And when he gets out, he will be staying with the wife and son and working still at King Crab. The reason why he absconded, Judge, when he picked up the 2018 case, that's this drug case under 1 gram, when he got arrested, she was pregnant. When he got a PR bond, he got out, she gave birth to their son. He says that he got attached to the son, wanted to be there while he was still a newborn. He told me that when I first visited him, and his wife told me the same thing independently. He said he got attached to their son and kept putting it off, turning himself in. However, in March 2021, he tried to turn himself in. His wife was there with him, but the jail didn't take him in because he didn't have an ID. Judge, I'm appointed. We are asking for a PR bond on all 3 of his cases. Regarding the felony, I see some issues with the stop, so I'm going to do a motion to suppress eventually. That's all we have, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Rago?
Your Honor, the defendant does have some criminal history. There was a tampering with evidence, which was dismissed in 2010, a failed ID that was dismissed. There's an ag assault with a deadly weapon. There were 7 counts. He was placed on deferred and then was revoked, and the revocation was run concurrent with the AFB impeding breath, which was 2 TDC. Like Mr. Strang indicated, the defendant did abscond. The KPS was issued on 2/5/2019. The state's concerned if he's released again, he will abscond again, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's part of the concern. So he's got, well, some current pen trips. He's got that AFV he picked up in 2015. I'm just going based off the PSR, the ag assault, was on probation. He got the 2 TDC there. And then we just kind of decided not to do anything about these. So, yeah, the request to reduce the bond is denied. That's almost wholly because of your client's previous non-compliance, Mr. Sharang. Now, with that said, because he was MIA for so long, I think we were set for jury trial back in August of 2019. That's when we ended up having an open, well, we had the open warrant from when he failed to appear prior to that. So I want to put you on a quick trial track. Myrna, we need to find a date in 2022 when we can set Mr. Sanchez and still give Mr. Sarang enough time to file any motions that he needs to file and have heard. If we're really going that route, then I would encourage you, Mr. Sarang, to you know, do what you need to do to get through the evidence, file your motions, and let's start having hearings so we really know where we are. Is this case otherwise? It's not like we're still outstanding labs or anything like that, right, Ms. Rago?
No,
I'm looking at the labs. We have them.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's been a while around, so this case there shouldn't be anything missing, but Mr. Sharang, that'll be part of what I know you'll be looking for. I would like to get these set very quickly if we can, but because if ultimately we're really not there and we're really looking at a plea, let's get the plea done. Okay, are the misdemeanors set?
I'm gonna file a motion to suppress probably tomorrow, Judge.
Okay, let's get it set. Let's just get this case moving. So Myrna, do you see any good time? I know I can think of really bad times when we can't, but I'm probably thinking December.
I'm checking on November 4th.
Oh, we can put him there. I just know that's a very full day. But again, you know, why not? Let's put him. Because I mean, there's no real reason to delay this one at all, other than to allow you all to do what you need to do. It should be ready to go. We're not waiting on labs, anything like that.
And that's going to be a November 4th jury trial setting, Judge?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm just doing that because I'm guessing that Mr. Sanchez isn't getting out. And so we just need to move his case and get you all talking in terms. Has there ever been a wreck, Ms. Rago?
I spoke to Rago yesterday, Judge, so we're communicating a little bit, but we're not in agreement.
Was there a wreck? Was it TDC or something?
Originally it was from Josh Avila, and that was 8 months state jail. And right now I had offered 6 months state jail.
Okay, so you all will be talking about things. Okay, I mean, I'm not going to hold you to, I mean, at the end of the day, if you need more time, Mr. Sharang, we'll look at it, and if you need to come back on the bond, but I don't really want to spend a lot of time like putting him into 2023, you know? So we'll get you some settings, and Myrna, we can go with that November 4th date. Okay?
Judge?
Monday.
December 2nd also looks good. It's less busy than the November 4th.
What do you think, Mr. Sarang? I'll leave that to you.
I think December 2nd would be good because for sure I'm going to do the motion to suppress. So that'll give us enough time to do one in between.
Okay, sounds good. December 2nd.
Okay.
If you're ready to go on that, Mr. Sarang, send us, if you're ready for the hearing, send us your motion and file it, send it to us via email so we can go ahead and set the hearing. No. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. You'll get with your attorney.
See you, Samantha.
Good to see you.
All right, who's next?
Middle of page 10, Judge. Annex, may we have Melendez, Adan Melendez.
Hi, Mr. Avalar.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Mr. Melendez, is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started.
In cause number 2018-0D02591, State of Texas versus Adan Angel Melendez. Announcement of council, please.
Samantha Raug on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
Daniel Avalar for Adan Angel Melendez. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. And Mr. Melendez is appearing from the jail annex. We're scheduled for a plea of true today. Mr. Melendez, is that what you're here to do? Plead true?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I need to swear you in. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. You can put your hand down, and would you state your name and date of birth for the record?
Alan Angel Melendez, 5/11 of 2000.
Okay, Mr. Melendez, are you the same individual who on November 15, 2018 entered a plea of guilty to the offense of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 2 in an amount less than 1 gram and was assessed or placed on deferred adjudication for a period of 2 years? Are you that same individual?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Avelar, do you waive formal reading of the motion to adjudicate?
We do, Your Honor.
Okay, any reason to believe that Mr. Melendez is not competent to enter his pleas today?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Melendez, have you ever been found incompetent by any court?
No, ma'am.
Ever had a doctor or psychiatrist who's found you mentally ill?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so for purposes of today's hearing, you are competent. I'm going to find that you are competent to enter your plea. So there were documents associated with your plea marked as States Exhibits 1, 2, and 3, the stipulations and waiver in this case. Recall reviewing those with your attorney and signing those.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within those documents?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Avelar, did you explain to your client all the consequences of signing those documents?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Melendez, are you intelligently, knowingly, and voluntarily waiving the rights explained in the documents that you signed? Are you waiving those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that by signing those documents, you're giving up certain constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that you're making a judicial confession?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that on a plea of true and all reasonable probability, I will find the allegations in the state's motion to be true. And in all reasonable probability, I will find you guilty of the offense of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 2. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
With regard to the motion to adjudicate, do you wish to enter a plea of true or not true?
True.
Other than the plea agreement reached between you and the state, are you pleading true because the allegations are true and for no other reason?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I will find you are making your plea of true freely and voluntarily. I understand the agreement is 6 months confinement in the state jail facility. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Avelar, is that correct?
It is, Judge.
Okay, I will go ahead and accept that plea agreement and admit States Exhibits 1, 2, and 3 into evidence. The court will take judicial notice of all the documents in the district clerk's file in this case. Based on the evidence presented here today and on your plea of true, I find there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations in the state's motion to adjudicate, and I find you guilty of the offense of possession of a controlled substance in penalty group 2 in an amount less than 1 gram. The judgment is hereby amended from 2 years deferred adjudication to 6 months confinement in the state jail facility. You will receive credit for any and all time that you have served. Anything further, Mr. Avelar or Ms. Rago?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Judge, speaking of the time that the court just mentioned,
Mhm.
the clerk would have the exact time, but if she doesn't, I'll figure it out and get it to him.
Let's go ahead and ask. I'm not sure. Let's see, there's Ms. Mooney. Ms. Mooney, do we have the time credit on this case?
I'm looking it up right now. 1 second.
Okay.
Thank you. For your time. Thank you.
Your Honor, this is Marissa. I have it at 84 days.
Okay. Okay. All righty. Good enough, Mr. Avelar?
I think so, Mr. Menendez.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, Judge. Thank you very much.
Okay. If there's nothing further, we're adjourned on this matter. Thank
Thank
you. Good luck to you, Mr. Melendez.
Thank you.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
I think so. Yes.
Okay, so
Have a
to
good day. Take care.
appreciate you. Thank you.
Who's next?
Bottom of page 10, Judge. Next, may we have Sonia Rascon?
Yeah.
Is the next defendant Rascon, Sonia?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Because number 2020-0D01029 and 2021-0D02600, State of Texas versus Sonia Veronica Rascon. Announcement of council, please.
Preston Munson for the state is ready, Your Honor.
Christopher Anchona, on behalf of Mr. Rascon, we are not ready, Your Honor.
Okay, so good. You got ahead of me because I was sure I still don't have plea papers.
Yes, Judge, I got the plea documents this morning from Mr. Munson. Unfortunately, I had a full morning, so I wasn't able to get out to the annex before this hearing to get them
Mr.
signed.
Munson, why
Yeah,
are we really sending plea papers this morning?
That is on me, Your Honor. So I
Yes, it
apologize.
is. All right. We're gonna reset her for 1 week.
Yeah, Judge, I can get out there to go see her soon.
No worries. Mr. Rascon, we'll see you next week, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Bye, Mr. Munson. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care. Who's next?
On page 11, Judge.
Mhm.
Annex, do we have Jason Zamora?
Yes, he's coming right up.
If we don't have Mr. Zamora, we can go to either Mr. Romero or Mr. Bautista. I think this is Bautista.
Your Honor, we don't have Mr. Zamora ready. We're gonna get him. It's gonna take us about 5 minutes.
No worries. We'll go to the next one. Let's go to Gilbert Bautista. Hold on, Mr. Parra. We'll probably be at the end because I think PD's has the next two.
Yes, we apologize, Your Honor.
No worries. Let's go to the next one. Who's this?
This is Bautista. No, Romero.
Oh,
Perdón,
Romero. That's what I thought. Okay. Ms. Page, oh, so we have different public defenders, yeah? On the two cases? Go ahead.
This is Mr. Romero?
Romero, sorry.
Zoilo Romero.
Okay. Because number 2020-0D02007, State of Texas versus Solio Gilberto Romero. Announcement of council, please.
Samantha Rogg on behalf of the state's ready, Your Honor.
And Myrna Pages for Mr. Zoilo Romero, ready, Your Honor.
And Ms. Pages, you recognize your client appearing from the jail annex?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Romero, I have us down for a plea of truth today. Is that your understanding of what we're doing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I need to swear you in. Would you raise your right hand, please? Sir, do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. You can put your hand down. If you would, please state your name and date of birth for the record.
Soy Gilberto Romero Jr., 122-1996.
Mr. Romero, you were scheduled today, as I mentioned, for a plea of true on this case. Are you the same individual who on January 12th, 2021, entered a plea of guilty to the offense of fraudulent use or possession of identifying information and was placed on deferred adjudication for a period of 5 years? Are you that same individual?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Pages, do you waive formal reading of the motion to adjudicate?
I do, Judge, with the exception that when I did submit the stipulation, it was amended. And so
Correct.
so other than those two paragraphs, Judge, we do agree with everything else.
Okay, and I will go over those when we talk about the actual motion that I have, I notated before signing that we removed failures to report that were alleged for both November and December of 2021. And so I think that is reflected on the plea paperwork. With that exception, you are waiving formal reading of the motion, correct?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Any reason to believe your client is not presently competent to proceed with his plea of true?
No.
Mr. Romero, have you ever been found incompetent by any court?
No, ma'am.
Ever been examined by a doctor or psychiatrist who's found you mentally ill?
My psychiatrist.
Okay, is there any diagnosed condition or anything else you're feeling today that is preventing you from understanding what we're doing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so I will find that you are competent to enter your plea of true, sir. I'm going to ask you about documents. They were marked as State's Exhibits 1, 2, and 3. Do you recall reviewing those with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained within them before you signed them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Pages, did you explain to your client those documents as well as the consequences of signing those documents?
I did, Judge.
And Mr. Romero, are you intelligently, knowingly, and voluntarily waiving the rights explained in those documents?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm having a little trouble hearing you, Mr. Romero. Can you speak up?
You said what? Excuse me?
Can you speak up? The volume is a little bit low.
Yeah.
You do understand?
Yes, ma'am. I do understand the paperwork.
Okay, and that you're giving up certain constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I don't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You understand that you are making a judicial confession?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that on your plea of true and all reasonable probability, I will find the allegations, but for the ones that were marked off on the paperwork, and we mentioned earlier that I will find the remaining allegations in the state's motion to be true, and in all reasonable probability, I will find you guilty of the offense of fraudulent use or possession of identifying information. Do you
Yes, ma'am.
do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. With regard to the motion to adjudicate, do you wish to enter a plea of true or not true?
True.
Other than the plea agreement reached between you and the state, are you pleading true because those allegations are true and for no other reason?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will find that your plea of true is being made freely and voluntarily. I understand the agreement to be, let's see. Is it 2 years confinement, 2 years TDC? Is that the agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Romero, that's your understanding as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will accept that plea agreement and admit States Exhibits 1, 2, and 3 into evidence. The court will take judicial notice of all the documents in the district clerk's file in this case. Based on the evidence presented here today and on your plea of true, I find there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations in the state's motion to adjudicate, and I will find you guilty of the offense of fraudulent use or possession of identifying information. Under this cause, the judgment is hereby amended from 5 years deferred adjudication to 2 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division. You will receive credit for any and all time that you have served, Mr. Romero. Is there anything further, Ms. Pages or Ms. Rago?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Mooney did help me calculate his days, and I just want to make sure that it's reflected. She indicated that it was 371 days, and if the court can give him credit for that time.
Mm-hmm. I will give him credit for any and all time that he has served. Ms. Mooney, does that conform with the number that you had?
Yes, Judge, it is.
Okay, perfect. Then we're good to go. Anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor. May I be excused?
You may. Good luck to you, Mr. Romero.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's get Mr. Batista up here. All right, is that Mr. Batista? Okay, go ahead.
Cause number 2020-0D00002, State of Texas versus Gilbert Bautista. Announcement of council, please.
Samantha Rogg on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
Brent Stevens for Mr. Bautista, we're ready, Your Honor.
And Mr. Bautista is appearing from the jail annex. We're scheduled for a bond hearing. However, I have a notation about, I think this is one we've gone back and forth regarding BHRTC, other treatment options. Carla, can you give me a quick update? I still saw that the recommendation is for substance abuse screening. Is that right? Or placement, he was already screened and now it's substance abuse caseload.
Yes, Your Honor. He, Mr. Bautista was screened for substance abuse caseload. Probation officer, Ms. Dalayandia had emailed you, Judge, sometime last week or the week before, submitting an email with the substance abuse modifications that the court would consider. But you did advise that you were at residential, I believe. The issue was, he was screened for BHRTC and he did not qualify for BHRTC. And that's where his follow-up is at now, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Stevens, which way are you gonna go? Are you gonna talk, are we gonna talk more about potential dispo or are we gonna talk about a bond?
Well, if we can resolve the case today, I would prefer to do that, Judge. My client is in agreement with being on the substance abuse caseload. He wants to finish probation. He has a place to live. He has a job waiting for him. So he does want to complete the probation. He had agreed to go to BHRTC previously, but they're not ready to accept him. So I'm not sure where the court is at this time.
Okay. Ms. Pineda, if you'll go ahead, if you have that email, if you'll go ahead and send me the modifications, I'll go ahead and modify him to the substance abuse caseload. So we're gonna go that route. All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Bautista, I better not have one bad report on you. That's all I'm telling you. I have gone well beyond a complete, I'm not sure if this is deferred or not, but basically pulling you off of probation to residential treatment to now a treatment that is got in certain aspects have less restrictions. So to me, on a certain level, I might be looking at this negative, but it's more room for you to fail. And I'm not going to wait for you to rack up a whole bunch of other non-compliance. Are we understanding each other? All right. It's up to him, Mr. Stevens. Let's set a status on the.
I'm sorry to interrupt. If I may, just on the record, and since Mr. Bautista is in front of the court, I just wanted to advise Mr. Bautista that he is to contact Ms. Alayandia so that he can obtain reporting instructions and further instructions for substance abuse caseload. That way he knows that he needs to make sure to contact Ms. Alayandia.
What's your question?
Can I get her number by any chance here? Does I have no way? Is my probation officer?
Whenever, you know what? As soon as you get out of jail, can you please call me at the public defender's office?
When would that be? When would I be getting released?
Well, in the next day or two, but when you get out, you need to call me and I will get you the information for your CSO, okay?
I can call him, Mr. Stevens, as soon as we are done with the hearing. I can call him right now at the annex.
We're going to do a probation status in 2 weeks. He will be required to appear via Zoom.
Perez, and I appreciate your gestures for today.
All right, we're going to come back in 2 weeks, Mr. Stevens.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right. Who's next? Mr. Zamora?
Yes, he's.
Well, there tomorrow. Yeah, there tomorrow. They go use.
Mr. Parra, are you there?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you for your patience. I'll go ahead and calling cause numbers 2020-0D03253, 2020-0D02810, 2020-0D03371, 2019-0D02513, and 2022-0D02713, all cases styled State of Texas versus Jason Franklin Zamora. May I have announcements, please?
Samantha Ragg on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
Your Honor, good afternoon. Victor Parra on behalf of Mr. Zamora.
Good afternoon, Mr. Parra. And Mr. Zamora is appearing remotely from the jail annex. We are scheduled for bond hearings in all of these cases. Mr. Parra, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, before his subsequent arrest, Mr. Zamora was going to enter a plea of guilty to deferred probation. Respectfully, he's 29 years old, born in El Paso. If the court were to grant a PR bond, he would be residing at the Vista Village Apartments. I confirmed that he still has those apartments. His father's been paying for it since he was incarcerated. The address to those apartments is 10535 Montwood 79935. He also would be gainfully employed with Triple J Drivers. They provide installation for numerous companies such as Sam's, Best Buy, and Cons. And he would be under his father's supervision. Again, I've met with his father multiple times, and he has confirmed that. Mr. Zamora attended Oñate High School. He has 2 children, ages 5 and 7, for which he does pay child support. And Judge, he was arrested in May. It took some time for the case to be indicted, and now I believe there's no lab results. There's no recommendation. And as such, Judge, I think he's been in jail. It's going to be 4 months. We're respectfully requesting a PR bond. I believe the bonds are high because of his recent arrest.
When you say he was arrested in May, you mean here in Texas or West Virginia?
I thought it was here in Texas, Judge, with the new
Or
cases.
both? I'm showing an arrest in 2022 in West Virginia for a drug offense. No. Ms. Rago, maybe you can look at that. It's coming up on the, what do you call this? The PSR, the PSR report.
I've never been there before. So.
Okay. It could be an error. It's possible. Go ahead, Mr. Parra, go ahead.
And I was saying, Judge, I believe the bonds for the 2019 and 2020 cases, 100,000 each, are on that amount because he was rearrested while on bond. And again, respectfully, Your Honor, we're requesting a pure bond, or that the surety bonds be reduced drastically and a split bond be handed, Judge, just because the cases have been taking so long to process and for the lab results to come out.
Okay. So let me just make sure I understand. 3253 is at 25. Well, what are the bonds? Wait a minute.
The 2019 case, it ends in 2513 is 100,000. The 2020 case ending in 3371 is 100,000. I have a 2022, the 2810, 20,000, 2713. I have 50,000, and I believe the second count or the other count for the 2713 is at 80,000, and then the 3253 is at 25,000.
Okay. I think those are the notes I had. I gotta think those 100,000s, those are the PR rebels, right?
That's correct, Judge.
Okay. All right. Okay, Ms. Rago, go ahead.
Your Honor, the state's concerned, just based on when the defendant is out, he is picking up the cases. The first case was in 2019, which was December of 2019. Fast forward to March of 2022. Then we have April of 2022, May of 2022, a day later in May, a week later in May. So the state is concerned about picking up new charges. In addition, it looks like this was in, let's see, there was an opium delivery or sell that was of May of 2022. That was with DEA. That was on the rap sheet as well. So I'm not sure if that was the man delivery
Yeah, that's what I'm
Um,
showing, and let me tell you why I brought it up. That's the one that's showing out of West Virginia. So I'm showing history in New Mexico, and really all of it is drug history. New Mexico, we're starting, well, New Mexico, let's see, 3 March 2018, we've got a possession of marijuana. Oklahoma, possession of marijuana in 2013, possession of dangerous drugs. It looks like those are misdemeanors. Of course, the Texas history is all there. And I looked at the one that stood out to me also was the West Virginia one, because, you know, it says arrest date May 18th, 2022, but he was booked here on May 19th, 2022 on this case. So I'm not really understanding what that is. I can, if I scrutinize the wrap a little bit more closely, maybe we can see something that, you know, will tell me how it's a mistake. Just not out of the realm of possibility.
I think Miss Rago's frozen or something's wrong with my computer.
Oh, yeah. Rocket. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
A little bit.
A little bit,
Okay,
but your face is stopped.
great. I'm trying to turn off my video to hopefully.
I was going to stop your video for you.
Thank
I
you,
didn't know
Judge.
I
If you
could
could
do
do
that
that.
this morning. Yeah, I didn't know until Mr. Beal's client. I was like, oh, I can stop your video. But I can hear you right now.
Okay. In addition, Judge 2, on the rap sheet, he was held in contempt for doing Anna, and that was March 5th of 2021. That was a possession of marijuana.
I think we're losing our prosecutor here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's give her a minute. Let's take a quick minute
which
just to
are-
see if I can. Ms. Rago, I'm going to ask maybe if you log in and log off and maybe back in, maybe that'll help the connection.
Will do, Judge. I apologize. Let me
No
do
worries.
that.